Ever wondered if your advertising dollar is really working for you? If your ad would have been here, you and more than 4 million people would be listening to it right now. Contact ads at xzoneradiotv.com.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
In a world where shadows dance and dreams take flight through the veil of reality into the night, Rob McConnell leads the way, a beacon so bright. With over 35 years, he ignites the light. A voice from the north where whispers are bold, stories untold in the echoes of old. Fact meets fiction in this realm of delight, in the X Zone where dark turns to bright. Welcome to the X Zone, believe and be free, a sanctuary for truth that dare to be seen, where the line between realms gently blurs, in a symphony of voices the mind stirs, with Rob McConnell stories unfold, tales of the unknown that shimmer like gold.
And welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. I am Rob McConnell, and for the next 2 hours, I'm your host and your guide as together we will visit this place that I call the X Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. We come to you Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. until midnight, right here on the CanCom Broadcast Network and your hometown radio, Classic 1220 CFAJ AM, streaming us around the world on classic1220.ca. If you'd like to send me an email, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, and on all social media sites, Xzone Radio TV. Before we get to our first guest tonight, I'd just like to share a little bit of information with you. First of all, the X Chronicles newspaper for May will be coming out at the end of the month because we are running a number of specials, and we just want to keep the suspense filled up, Filled up? Is that what you do with suspense, Craig? All righty. And Craig at Master Control, nice working with you as I do every night here, buddy. And also, starting this coming Saturday, we are going to be playing 2 hours from 8 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock in the morning, just of the music of the X Zone. Now, these are all songs and lyrics and productions that we've done, specifically for the X Zone. So that is every Saturday from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m., and it's going to be available live on X, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, and every other place we can get it out there. Well, my first guest tonight is Vanessa Smallwood. And in a world filled with uncertainty, stress, and emotional chaos, more and more people are turning towards spirituality, healing, and the search for deeper meaning. My guest this hour, X Zone Nation, as I said, is Vanessa Smallwood, a spiritual teacher, intuitive guide, and teacher who has dedicated her life to helping people reconnect with their inner selves and the unseen energies from all around us. From spiritual awakening and energy healing to intuition, the spirit world, emotional balance, and the power of human consciousness, Vanessa works with individuals seeking answers beyond the limits of conventional and understanding. Can emotional pain leave energetic scars? Do loved ones remain connected to us after death? And are more people around the world experiencing a profound spiritual awakening? Joining us tonight to discuss these fascinating questions and much more is Vanessa Smallwood. Her website, www.spiritualguidanceandhealing.co.uk. I'm Rob McConnell, and this is the X Zone, where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. So joining me now from the United Kingdom, where she got up very early in the morning even before the birds, just to be here with us. The X-Zone Nation is Vanessa Smallwood. And Vanessa, welcome back to the X-Zone. Great having you with us.
Hello, Rob. Excuse me. Hello, Rob.
I feel that way when I first get up to, so don't worry about it. Vanessa, for the listeners meeting you for the very first time, who is Vanessa Smallwood beyond the spiritual work you do?
Oh, I'm just a very keen gardener. Just spend my time in my garden and in the New Forest, walking my dogs. Just a huge lover of nature. Just a very busy person. Do lots and lots of work spiritually. Do all the local churches. Do shows. Yes, so just full time with spirit, really, and in the garden.
When did you first realize you possessed intuitive or spiritual abilities?
I think, well, it was before the age of 5. I always remember a man in the bedroom when I was very little, which used to absolutely scare me to death. But then when I was about 5, our family dog passed away.
Oh.
And I always remember my grandma saying, would anyone like to say goodbye to Duke? And I was the only one out of my brother and sister who said yes. And my grandma lifted me up to give him a kiss goodbye. And I heard so clearly, I'm not dead. And I remember saying to my grandma, he's not dead, he's just told me. And I was told, obviously, not to be silly. They buried him that night. The next morning, I came down the stairs, opened the kitchen door, and there was Duke standing there, as large as life, wagging his tail at me. So I'm shouting, waking the whole house up, Duke's here, he's here. And then my mum comes running down, and obviously they couldn't see him.
Oh, gosh.
And this went on probably for about a week to 10 days. My grandma said I had to stop it because I was upsetting my mum. And so that's when I first realised something was a bit different with me.
I would say something very special.
Well, yes, very special.
Very, very special. And it's too bad that parents just do not believe what their children, their young children, tell them when just because it doesn't seem real to the parent doesn't mean it's very real to the child.
Yes, definitely. My youngest daughter also has the gift. She doesn't like it, but I try to encourage her. But she's not at that age at the moment where she wants to interact. So, but when she is, hopefully she'll be very good.
Was there a defining moment, past the encounter with Duke, in your life that awakened your spiritual path? Or do you think that the passing of Duke to the rest of the world, but not to you, was that turning point?
I'd say there was quite a few. There was another occasion when I was probably about 10. I had pocket money, and it was a Sunday morning, and in England, the shops only used to be open for an hour on the Sunday morning to get your newspaper. So me and my friend went down to the shop. I was so eager to get sweets with my money. And we was at the main road, and I remember looking left and right with my friend and just run across the road. I remember entering the door of the small paper shop, but I felt like I was thrown to the counter, and it was very bright. And as I got to the counter, the lady behind was in shock and sort of screamed out. And I was like, oh, sorry if I scared you. With that, my friend ran in, and she was going, oh my God, you nearly got killed. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And after that, this gentleman came in, taking off his crash helmet, saying, you silly girl, you run straight out in front of my motorbike. You nearly killed both of us. I never saw the motorbike, but the lady behind the counter said it was like there was this big white light just threw me into the shop. So I obviously apologised to the poor guy on the motorbike and got my sweets and went home. But always felt this sort of blessing by spirit. I was taken off into care as a young child, away from my family, but I would always hear things. I would always just know I was being looked after. So if I was upset, I would always hear, "Don't worry, things will be fine." So I think from the age of about 10, I believed I had someone or something with me. And I used to say to other people, I'm okay, I've got my friends to talk to, which at a boarding school, they found that I was quite odd. But I felt quite looked after and loved, even though I was away
Yes.
from my family. I felt this protection.
Well, that's because you're special, and I believe that all children have that ability, but you were gifted at a very young age where you had your first experience, I believe, with spirit, with your little dog. And it seems that over the years you've had what some people call spirit, other people call guardian angels with you.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and here we are in a very chaotic world. How do you personally define spirituality in today's world?
Oh, just kindness, really, and just finding that inner peace. It took me a long time to find my inner peace. I mean, to me, spiritualism is all about love and kindness, but and the satisfaction also of giving messages to people that their loved ones still live on. It's quite a big movement in England, the spiritual world, the
Yes.
SNU. But spiritualism to me is basically to be kind and to treat others as you would like to be treated yourself.
Vanessa, you and I have to take our first break, so please stand by. And Exonation, our guest this hour is Vanessa Smallwood, and her website is www.spiritualguidanceandhealing.co.uk. And we'll both be back on the other side of this break as we keep investigating the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here in the X Zone. And once again, if you'd like to send us an email, it's xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. You're listening to us on the CanCom Broadcast Network, and their oh my gosh, syndication and all the different affiliates that they have, including one in Michigan, WELV-FM. I'm Rob McConnell, and you can listen to us in your car radio, in your office, on an AM radio, if you live in Ontario. So if you're driving along the 401 heading back to Toronto, or if you're on your way back from the casino in Niagara to St. Catharines with a big smile on your face, you know that you've got Classic 1220 CFAJ AM on your radio dial, and you can also listen to us streamed by CFAJ at classic1220.ca.
Where belief reinvents and hearts start to melt.
In a house of dragons and candlelight,
Exonation, our guest this hour is Vanessa Smallwood, and her website is, do you have your pencils and paper ready? Okay, it's www.spiritualguidanceandhealing.co.uk. What was it like the very first time that you connected with someone on the other side of the veil?
Oh, wow. Amazing. I was quite a late learner. I went to a spiritualist church to ask for help because I kept seeing a deceased partner. Every time I came home from work, they were in my house. So I went to the local spiritualist church and asked for help. They invited me to join their closed circle. And I can remember thinking, oh, these people are very odd. I don't know if I belong here. And within 2 sessions, I was just in awe that I could hear them clearly. And the way they taught me to stop them, to invite them, to stop them, it was almost like this switch in my head that I could press it and I could hear them. I could say, I'm not working. I could stop them. So I went home and I asked the spirit in my house, what did they want from me? And they wanted me to pass a message on to one of their family members. So I had to ring them and say, look, your dad has said, which obviously they thought I was completely bonkers, because this guy had been passed for about 9 months. And I passed on the message, which it just went dead quiet. And they said, oh, the day before he passed, we had an argument over that same subject you're telling me. So they were just so thankful that their dad had said what he needed to say. I never saw him again in my house. And I was just blown away, just how easy it was for me. It was like putting a glove on. I would sit in the silence for minutes and then instantly bombarded with spirit talking to me and the evidence. I was just like, where is this coming from? It was just... I don't mean to sound like beefing myself up, but it was just so easy for me. And I was just in awe. I had about 3 teachers, and all of them, absolutely. It was just amazing experience.
You know, having people like you on the show over the number of years I've been at this, I've tried many times, I should say, when I get home at night. It's usually about 3 o'clock our time.
Yes.
I sit in the dark in the living room.
Yes.
And I try, and I try. I'm in my mind. I'm saying, I'm here, please. I want to see. I want to hear, please. Nothing.
Yes. I sometimes think people that try too hard when I'm teaching really just sort of almost the energy of the desperation pushes it away. I went into it thinking, well, you know I hear things, but I personally don't like to see spirit. I have an agreement with spirit. I will work for you, but please do not walk around my house when I'm not working. Because I am quite a baby, I get quite scared. I live on my own and I don't like the dark. But sometimes spirit won't leave because they've got an urgent message. But like you say, when you sit there in that quiet, the information, just from my guides, my grandma who now is in spirit, absolutely. And you can feel the energy when it comes around you. I don't believe you're not getting anything. I think some people are such a logical brain that it has to be so obvious.
You know, something else that's been happening lately, and I've been telling all my guests who I think might have an answer for me over the last couple of months now, is like I said, I get home 3 o'clock, 3:30, I'm in bed, 3:45, I'm asleep. Around 4 to 4:30, there is a bang. Now,
Okay.
wakes me up. But
Yes.
my dog, not disturbed. My wife, not disturbed. Our alarm system hasn't gone off.
Right.
And this happens. And lately I've been saying, who are you? What can I do for you? Nothing. Am I getting a message, and am I too, like you said, too logical to understand what the message is?
I instantly, when you said about the bang, that is definitely spirit. So are you doing this at like 3 a.m., are you saying? 3:30 a.m.?
Yeah, in between three. Well, I get home at 3 usually. Stay up until about 3:30. I get to bed at 3:30, 3:45. I'm asleep, so it's around between 4 and 4:30 usually.
Okay. My suggestion to you would be to do this in daytime. We have a big belief here in the UK, like 3 a.m. is the witching hour.
Yeah.
I personally wouldn't encourage a connection at that time in the morning. That's me personally.
All
I
right.
have seen some very scary things on this journey, and I mean scary things that probably could be in a horror film.
Oh, wow.
I don't like 3 o'clock in the morning. They say it's the spiritual, they say it's the awakening hour.
Yeah, over here we call it the witching hour.
Yeah, we call it as well, the
Oh, you do?
witching
Okay.
hours. So personally, I would probably, I still think you're definitely getting a connection, but whether you're getting the higher energy connection you would actually like, I'm not too sure. I would try and do it in the daytime if you had spare half an hour
Okay.
in the afternoon. I think you'd get a totally different response. That's my opinion.
Well, I will try it. I will try it because I'm a believer. However, no, let me rephrase that. I want to believe, but in order for me to believe, I have to see the proof, and that comes from being a police officer for many years.
Yes, yes.
People
I have
say, Rob, why do you do the show if you're not a believer? I said, well, I am a believer. I just want to see the proof. Like, yeah, for Bigfoot, I'd like to be driving down the highway and seeing, how I don't know if they do it in Great Britain, but over here in hunting season, they put the reindeer or whatever they shoot over the hood of their car.
Okay.
And drive it home. I'd like to see that with a Bigfoot. Then I'd believe in Bigfoot. Or if a ranger or a police officer was able to catch it on a dash cam or I'd like to see proof. And yet when it comes to angels, I believe in angels. I've seen an angel.
Yes.
So I know they're real.
Yes.
I would love to be able to communicate with spirit to see how my mother is on the other side and all the rest of my family is on the other side.
Well, that would take you, as we call in England, to join a circle, to join a spiritual circle, to learn the teachings on how to connect.
So I'm missing that part of the equation.
Yes. It's, yeah, and I also believe those who want it the most, it eludes them because it's like you say with Bigfoot, he doesn't want to be found. I don't think spirit really all the time want to connect with us either. They have a very busy life in spirit.
Right.
They, sometimes if I will only do a reading usually once a year, because if they try to book again, their reading will be not as strong because spirit are like, what do they want now? I've already said everything. Yeah, they're not like So I sort of believe that these people that like yourself that want it so desperately, it eludes you. I had an incident many years ago with the police. I was at home and just me and my mum, and we had a Alsatian called Misty. And I started hearing the voices again. I was about 18, and I kept hearing people in the hallway calling my name, and the dog was growling and barking. This went on for about 4 evenings. I told my mum when she got in from work, and she was like, "Oh, it's nothing, it's your imagination." And I kept going to get my mum home early from work because I was scared. I used to run down, get the dog, say, "Mum, you've got to come home. They're in the hall. They're making all this noise. They're screaming and banging and they're calling my name." So my mum comes home early from work. We're watching the TV. She said, "See, nothing, nothing. It is you. You're making it up." And then the banging started.
All right, we're going to have a bit of a cliffhanger here because I have to take my break, so please stand by.
Okay.
Fascinating lady tonight, Exo Nation. Her name is Vanessa Smallwood, and her website is www.spiritualguidanceandhealing.co.uk. And Vanessa and I will be back as we continue talking about spirit, talking about the other side, and what is it like when you look for spirit and the spirit doesn't want to talk to the person that's asked Vanessa to do a reading or do a connection. You're listening to the X-Zone Radio Show on the CanCom Broadcast Network and on your hometown radio, Classic 1220 CFAJ AM, right here in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, streaming at classic1220.ca.
Through the endless night, Oberon called to the ancient skies. Morning glory saw truth in their eyes. From the forest deep to the ocean foam, they built a world and they made it home. With books of magic and hearts untamed, changing the world in the old God's name. Oh, Oberon, wizard of the silver flame, morning glory calling.
When the moon bleeds black on All Hallows Eve, whispers crawl through the dead oak leaves, candles flicker in the graveyard spread, calling spirits back from death. The witches are awake tonight, dancing around the firelight. Spells are cast, the veil is thin. Let the wicked feast begin. Screams will echo through the sky. You'll hear them laugh before you die. Run if you dare, make no mistake. The witches are awake.
Vanessa Smallwood is our guest, Exo Nation, and if you'd like to find out more about Vanessa, visit our website at www.spiritualguidanceandhealing.co.uk. Okay, so I'm not going to try so hard, and I will let you know what happens. What is it like when somebody comes to you for you to make a connection with the other side? You make the connection, and the person they want to speak to on the other side says, no way, I don't want to talk to them. What happens? Does that happen?
It does happen sometimes. I can't say nobody comes forward for them, but sometimes they will say, "I was hoping to speak to my dad or my mum," and I will go back in and ask, and they just said they're not ready, they can't today. But most of the time, that very rarely happens. The worst scenario is when you're doing a show and you go to someone and you say, "I've got your dad here," and they're like, "I do not want to talk to them, send them back." I can't send them back until I've heard their message, and I have given it to the person, and I have to try to explain that, say, "Look," and usually it's an apology, a sorry, or something, the reason why the daughter or the mother doesn't want to hear from this person. But it's very rarely the person they really truly want doesn't come through, but that does. And there is some people that within 10 minutes of being in my workshop, I say, I'm very sorry, I can't give you a reading. My helper, Bernard, who talks to me all the time, will say, your 12 o'clock is going to be a no-go. And I'm like, well, they're here, so I still bring them in. And within 5 minutes, there is nothing. And, and the poor sitter really gets quite upset. But I said, Spirit, do not want to connect today with you. I don't exactly understand why that is, but
Right.
that does happen, yes.
How long after a person has passed can they be communicated with on the other side?
Well, I have one example. I was in a church in Edinburgh, and the message came for this man, I have your mum here. And he says, no, you haven't. I've just left my mum. She is in the hospital, but I've left her literally 15 minutes ago. And it was, no, this is your mum I've got. The gentleman got up and left, and he came back 5 minutes later. He'd called the hospital, and his mum had passed.
Oh, my gosh.
10 minutes after he left. I had one particular reading. A gentleman came through. 30 years this lady had been waiting. But the gentleman took his own life, but also before he took his life, he tried to take hers. So 30 years she'd waited to hear from him, and very emotional reading. So I think it all depends on how you left this earth.
Yes.
And some souls do not want to connect when they've passed.
Why do some spirits remain and others go to the light?
Well, we believe that they all go to the light.
Oh, okay.
We believe that when they say about earthbound souls, some people are quite scared to pass and would like to stay here. But then on the other side of it, we also sort of say it's like a camera roll. It's just playback, so they are here. They're just reliving something they did here on Earth. I personally believe they all do go over. And I feel that the actual place people are seeing ghosts, it's just like a camera roll, just keeps getting stuck in, in a loop.
I see. What happens in a case where the spirit of the person believed that reincarnation is real? Now, let's say somebody goes to you and you try and connect with the other side, but what happens if that person has been reincarnated?
Well, maybe they're the ones that I can't read
okay.
or never come through.
I'm sorry if the spirit you have dialed has no longer this extension. Oh, well. Yeah, it must be hard at times for this. What do you call them? The sitter, right? You do the reading for the sitter?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
How do you protect yourself from bringing something to this side of the veil that's not very nice?
Would you like an experience on that?
Oh, I sure would. Yeah.
It was probably in lockdown. I had done a regression workshop for the day online. I was regressed and past life. This particular evening, I have a log fire. It was a cold evening. The fire was on. I could see my breath. It was so cold. So I got up and put the heating on as well, got a blanket. I have 2 dogs. And one next to me stood up and started snarling and growling. And the other one was under the coffee table, jumped up and went behind me. My breath, I could just see my breath like I was in Antarctica, and I was shivering. And I heard my guide, Bernard, saying, oh dear, get ready. And I saw this image come out from under the wall unit, which was very scary. never felt so scared. And my guide was saying, say the Lord's Prayer, the Lord's Prayer, the Lord's Prayer. So I was shouting this Lord's Prayer, and as loud as I could. My dog was still snarling, all her heckles were up. This seemed to go on for ages. It was probably a few minutes. Shouting the Lord's Prayer, and then all of a sudden it went to like Barbados temperature. Everything just stopped and changed. I do believe my guide will tell me. I also know that if I hear spirit in my left ear, I do not want to speak to them. I only talk to those who communicate through my right ear. If they come from behind me, I do not want to talk to them either. I have to deal with them, but then they're taken straight away. So everything that comes in front of me or to the right of me is what I will work with.
Bernard, I would imagine, is your guide? Your spirit guide?
Well, his name is Bernard, and his
Bernard.
name's Bernard Balls. He was a very well-known medium in Essex, where I originally come. He came to one of my properties in Essex when I had a very, very naughty ghost or spirit. And that's the first time I met Bernard in my 20s. I'd had a priest around. There was lots of activity. And I met Bernard, and he said to me, do not speak to them, do not encourage them. But one day you're going to be a medium. And I said, oh, no, I'm not. I'm scared. I'm definitely not.
Now, at this time, Bernard was alive, and this was a real person you were talking
Yes.
to? Okay.
Yes. All right. I reconnected with Bernard probably about 10 years ago. I went to Essex and told him, yes, I am a medium now. And we had a lovely long chat. And I went back at Christmas, and they said, oh, no, sorry, dear, Bernard passed away just after your last visit.
Oh, no.
And then I was in my house one evening having a cigarette and a glass of wine, and I heard someone cough, saying, put that fag out, put that. And I was like, who's saying that? And that was Bernard. He stood there smoking, because he smoked. And I said, oh. He said, oh, I've got permission to come and help you. And he's been with me ever since.
Isn't that wonderful?
So, but like attracts like in spiritualism. So if you're a very godly, airy-fairy soul, you will have a guide like that. Bernard liked whiskey, liked smoking, liked all the naughty things in life, amazing medium. So me and him connected quite well, I have to say.
With what you do and seeing what you've seen, is evil real? And is there such a place as hell?
See, I'm a Christian, so I do believe.
Okay.
But my spiritual teaching is we explain heaven and hell as like a big sponge cake, like a layer cake. So the more you have done, bad deeds on earth, you might be the bottom part of the cake. And you have every chance to evolve up to be the top tier of this cake. So I don't see hell as the Christians would explain hell. I just see that lower energies go to a lower realm. But they have every ability to work up.
So do you believe in reincarnation?
Totally, yes.
How does reincarnation fit into the work that you do? I know we touched on it briefly, but how do you see it as the lucky one of the two of us who can actually see beyond the veil?
I don't, excuse me, I don't really do much on reincarnation. I've had a few incidents with it. That is something I totally believe in because I've had proof of it through people I know.
Okay.
Yes, but I was always told, your soul will be in spirit for about 100 years, which I sort of do not believe. I was being taught by an amazing teacher in London, and he explained to me that I was in the Second World War. And I said, oh, please don't even go there. My mum, I used to be obsessed with watching every single documentary on the Second World War. I remember my uniform. He said, you had a really quick turnaround, Vanessa. You only passed in, I think it was 47, and you're back again. But I do have a very strong remembrance of being in the Second World War.
Let's talk more about this when we come back from our final break. Vanessa Smallwood is our special guest, X-Zone Nation. Fascinating lady with fascinating stories. Now, if you'd like to find out more about Vanessa, like I've been saying for this hour, www.spiritualguidanceandhealing.co.uk. And we'll both be back as we wrap up this hour here in the X-Zone on the CanCom Broadcast Network and your hometown radio, Classic 1220 CFAJ AM, streaming us at classic1220.ca.
Black cats hiss on a cobblestone lane. The wind moans soft, it whispers your name. Eyes in the darker shadows grin. You're already caught, they're pulling you in. The witches are awake to. Late night signals whisper through the sky. Stories of the unknown drifting by. From shadows deep to stars above. The truth and mystery, what we dream of. From a humble start on AM air, a voice in the night reaching everywhere. St. Catherine's heard that distant tone. Rob McConnell's voice, the X-Zone. Through the years, through the miles, through the questions and the trials. Now we're back on 12:20 a.m. Classic sound, it begins again. CFAJ, your hometown radio, where the truth and the strange still flow. From Ontario skies to the great unknown, with Rob McConnell on the X-Zone.
Welcome back, everyone. Vanessa Smallwood has been our guest of this hour. Her website is spiritualguidanceandhealing.co.uk. First of all, Vanessa, thanks so much for joining with us. It's been a wonderful time with you. And once again, thanks for getting up so early to join us.
You're very welcome.
I understand that you had a near-death experience in which you saw Jesus.
Yes.
Could you please share it with us?
Yes. I was in a very bad place at the time, and yes, basically I passed away. I was resuscitated, woke up in the hospital, much to my disbelief when I was there. So a friend of mine came and picked me up and took me home where all my family were waiting, and I had 2 children. Everyone was really upset, and yeah, it was very, very hard. So I ended up taking myself off to my bedroom, and everyone was discussing, me downstairs. I was in my sort of 30s, early 30s, and somebody knocked on my bedroom door, which I thought was very odd because my children would just come in, my parents, and I said, "Come in." To me, it was Jesus. It was dressed how I would imagine he looked, how I would imagine. He came in and he sat on my bed and said, "Very sorry for all the the abuse you've gone through all your life, all the traumas, all the hard times, but we needed you to do this to be who we want you to be. You will see the light and you will follow the light." And I thought, I'm hallucinating. He held my hand and then he said these words and left. And I remember banging on the floor, and my mum came up and I said, Who was that bloke you just sent in the room? She said, There's no one here, Ness. There's nobody here. You know, maybe you're still hallucinating, you know. But from that moment, my life changed. I was living in Essex. I upped sticks with my children and moved to the New Forest in Hampshire. I found this inner strength. I still had, you know, I still liked too much booze and smoking, and I still, you know, but I knew I was on the right path at last. And Hampshire, the different way of living here, I started my spiritual journey, and I understand that I had to see all those things to have the empathy for these souls that come to me. I have lots of spirit who have passed away tragically, and not many mediums bring them through. So I feel very blessed that I can put loved ones in spirit on earth to know that they're loved ones who passed tragically or even at their own hands are here. They're still, you know, with us, and they have healed from their trauma. So I believe I had to have all these, you know, experiences, which some were quite horrific as a child, to understand people in the way and have this empathy, because it doesn't matter if I have drug addicts in front of me or prostitutes or any shape or form of what people would class as the lower society, just to give them, you know, comfort. So yes, I feel very blessed at my past, even though it was a very hard journey.
You know, I'm just imagining how I would feel. I'm a Christian.
Yes.
How I would feel if I saw Jesus. And yet I'm going to share with you a dream that I had. I was at a very dark time in my life as well. It was just a lot of stress, you know, just a lot of stress. And I went to sleep one night, and in my dream, I woke up, and it was total black.
Okay.
And I said, oh, so this is what it's like to be dead. As soon as I said that, you know how you think you talk in your dreams? As soon as I said that, from the blackness, 2 golden doors opened up.
Yes.
And then I heard beautiful church music, as I would imagine from the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, some beautiful church music. I was drawn into an area. It's as if I'm just standing still, but I'm moving. And I move into an area where there are... It reminds me of something that I would have seen in Greece, in old Greece. And there were 2 tiers of men sitting at the tiers, and each tier, an upper and lower, had 3 men sitting in these tiers, and in the middle was a man on a golden throne, and to his right hand side behind him was a person that I perceived as Jesus. Except all these men had really white hair, crystal beautiful blue eyes, and I felt so good in their presence. And the message I was getting was, keep going, you're nearly there, don't give up. Keep going, you're nearly there, don't give up. And as this message is keep on repeating to me from the person who is sitting in the main chair that I assume was God,
Yes.
I was pulled back to where my journey had started in the dream. The 2 doors closed. It was totally black again, and I woke up.
Wow,
I've had that dream about 4 or 5 times.
Well, that's how I see heaven when I meditate, when Father Michael greets me. It is like you say, it's like old Rome. It is columns,
Yes.
and they do have pure white hair, and they glow, and they are just like, to me, they look like overgrown cherubs, just these beautiful energies.
Yep.
And I have sat before as well and been given things, so I do believe you obviously went to heaven.
And whenever I think about changing what I'm doing, dealing with the topics that I deal with, I've been doing this now for 35 years. Something happens in my life that is like I hit a roadblock. And when it first started, I would keep trying to get through, and I would give up and say, okay, you win. And then everything would go back to normal.
Yes.
So now when this happens, I just say, I should take a look and see what's going on, what the message is, because no matter what I try, I'm not going to be doing anything else with my life. I love what I do. I love the people that I get to share their lives with, even for an hour.
Yes.
So I think that I've learned the lesson, and something else that I was taught by those that I believe are on the other side is that you cannot be successful without failure.
Definitely, yes.
And something else, I always treat somebody as I want to be treated.
Yes. Oh, yes. That's, yes, definitely.
Like there's no one, I'm better than no one else.
Oh, yeah, we're just,
I'm just me. I'm just me.
Yeah. And I think sometimes these roadblocks or these things, because sometimes we're not supposed to go down that path. And when we do give up, a new opportunity or something arises anyway.
We've got about 2 minutes left. In those 2 minutes, what is the final message that you would like to share with the XO Nation tonight?
Oh, just believe we are all spiritual creatures. We are here on earth to leave good footprints, to do good. Whether you ever become a medium, a healer, we all have a gift, and it is kindness and love.
My wife was a nurse prior to her retirement. And she and other nurses would tell me about experiences when a person was near death. She worked in palliative units after she worked in the psychiatric nursing homes. And she would say, and these nurses would say, that when a person is ready to go, it's as if they are being met by people that we can't see, but they see.
Oh, clearly they see them.
And they have they put a smile on their face, and they look at the nurses and they say, I'm going home. Can't you see my family? And for as many people that have shared their stories with me over the years, including my wife and her friends, I would be a fool not to say that based on their stories, that this is evidence that I accept as being spiritual, that spirit is there, that there is more to life than we will ever know. And life goes on after on after on. And I'm sorry, I don't believe in Bigfoot. I don't believe in UFOs. I don't believe in extraterrestrials. I don't believe in vampires because I haven't seen them. And the reports that I get are kind of, okay, that's what you saw. Okay, but when you have so many people talking about spiritual encounters, and like I said, I believe in angels.
Yes. But we're here for a short time, but all humans look forward to going home.
Do you know what, my good friend? I've got a good friend in Montreal who says, Rob, we're here for a good time, not for a long time.
That's right, most definitely.
You and I have to say so long for now. Please come back and visit us again.
Would love to. Thank you for having me.
Vanessa, it's I who thank you. And Exo Nation, once again, if you'd like to contact Vanessa for a one-on-one consultation, please check out her website at www.spiritualguidanceandhealing.com. I'll be back on the other side of this break as the X Zone continues with yours truly, Rob McConnell, on the CanCom Broadcast Network and on your hometown radio, Classic 1220 CFAJ AM, streaming us at classic1220.ca.
Late night signals, whisper